With the NBA trade deadline just around the corner, Nico Harrison has a very tough decision to make. Either he's going to move around some of our more integral pieces to try to get a big name player to push us over the hill, or he's going to move some of our smaller pieces for other smaller pieces that fit the team just better. And on this channel over the last few days, we've talked about how Herb Jones has been a player who's been linked to the Dallas Mavericks, as Nico Harrison has been pursuing him aggressively. So in this video, we're going to see what is the update regarding Herb Jones, whether or not Daniel Gafford is here to stay, as well as we do have an injury update before tomorrow's game against the Charlotte Hornets. But how's it going, everybody? My name is Marcel Martin. This is Mavs Digest, bringing you the latest news on everything Mavericks related. And before we get started with today's video, we're currently sitting at 16,865 subscribers, getting very, very close to 17K. So if you're enjoying everything that we're doing here at Mavericks Digest with our live streams, watch-alongs, news vids, and everything else in between, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on a single thing that we do. But on this channel over the last few days, we've been just sticking very closely to any rumors floating around the Dallas Mavericks, as the trade deadline is just around the corner. We have until February 6th, that is the day of the deadline, and the Dallas Mavericks have yet to make any moves. There really hasn't been any real rumors of who the Mavericks are going after, except for a few small names. But the few things that we do know is that the Dallas Mavericks are one of the most aggressive teams ahead of the trade deadline, trying to find something to bolster this team. And we did get word that the Dallas Mavericks are looking for a defensive wing to try and help this team. We all know that our perimeter defense is awful, as well as our health, guys getting hurt, guys getting sick, but that's something that we can't really fix in the middle of the season. But as far as our defense, that's the one spot that we definitely need help with. We don't have Derrick Jones Jr., we don't have a really good point of attack defender, so that's what Nico Harrison is going after. If we take a look right here, this was posted the other day. Jake Fisher wrote this today, it was yesterday, saying the Pelicans continue to shut down ongoing interest in defensive stalwart Herb Jones, who's out indefinitely with a torn labrum in his right shoulder. They say he's out indefinitely. Not too sure what his timetable is to return, so he's not out for the season. He could come back towards the end, or maybe they do send him out for the full season. But Jake Fisher did kind of put it to rest that the Pelicans are not looking to move Herb Jones. But that doesn't mean that Nico Harrison is going to stop trying, as this was also posted today. The Mavericks are known to have strong interest in the Pelicans' Herb Jones, but as both Jake and I have covered here more than once, New Orleans has been consistently discouraging trade interest in its perimeter defensive ace. That was Jake Fisher and Mark Stein. But Curse Muse tweeted out saying, when Nico wants something, he always gets it, for the most part. Plus, it went down from untouchable to discouraging. So, I'm not going to try to fill your heads with any false hope that we are going to get Herb Jones. Nothing is set in stone. There could be a deal in place all the way up until the final day of the trade deadline, and it could all fall through. As Mavs fans, we know what it's like when a player agrees to join and then they choose not to. We all know what could actually happen. But that doesn't mean that Nico isn't trying to go after somebody. So as far as I know, Herb Jones, it's still up in the air. Something could happen at the very last hour of the trade deadline. The Pelicans could just stay strong and not want to move him. They have mentioned in the past that Herb Jones, Yves Messi, as well as Trey Murphy are the three young players that they are not willing to part with, but everyone else is free game. Zion Williamson, Brandon Ingram, anybody else besides those three young guys are available for trade. But who else on the Pelicans that the Mavericks could potentially go after, who's also been kind of linked to the Dallas Mavericks as a potential interest in trade, is Devonte Green, who I'm not too sure if that's the right player for the Dallas Mavericks. He is over 30 years old, about 31, 32 years old. He is on an expiring contract. He will be an unrestricted free agent next year. So I don't really see the benefit of trading for someone who's on an expiring contract. And how well he's been playing this year, well, he hasn't been playing too bad. If we take a look at his stats, for this season, he's putting up 6.2 points, 3.4 rebounds, 0.8 assists, 0.7 blocks, 1 steal, 0.6 turnovers, and 1.5 fouls per game, shooting 46% from the field and 38% from 3. He is only 6'4", so obviously this isn't the type of player that we would necessarily want to back up PJ Washington, obviously. And I think I can speak for everybody when I say that we need a backup for PJ, move on from Maxey. So Devonte Green doesn't really fit that, but that doesn't mean that Devonte Green would be the only move that we make. He shoots 44% on corner threes, 100% of his threes are assisted, and 44% of all shots are threes. So yeah, defensive wing, that's Devonte Green. He's on a very cheap contract. It's an expiring contract. So sure, let's say we trade for Devonte Green, we move Maxey and a second round pick or whatever they ask for that's reasonable. We get Devonte Green, we see how it works, and if it's a fit, cool, we'll re-sign him in the offseason. If not, that salary that we could then dump and just let him walk, and we could use that money to retain Quentin Grimes as well as Kyrie Irving, who is looking for a contract extension. He's most likely going to forego his player option for a bigger contract. I personally don't think Devonte Green is really worth going after. Not saying he's not a good player. Not saying that he wouldn't be better than anybody on our team. By far, he's not that bad of a player. But I think as far as what this team needs is what we've all been saying over the last several months, the last 2 months really, is we need a backup power forward. PJ is one of our more, not an MVP caliber player, but he is a very valuable player to the Dallas Mavericks. Without him on the floor, we're not winning many games. And a lot of the issues that we have is rebounding. This team is horrible when it comes to rebounding. With Luka Doncic being one of our best rebounders, who is currently out with injury, PJ Washington is essentially our best rebounder. Then, of course, you got Daniel Gafford, Derrick Lively. But with this team currently constructed, we are fairly solid. It's the backups that needs to be improved. And obviously, when you look across the league, there are several players that are available, but maybe not all of them are exactly what we're looking for. When it comes to Devonte Green, I wouldn't mind going after him if it's not the only move that we make. Like I said in the video yesterday, I do like Jordan Clarkson. I know a lot of you guys don't, but that's just me personally. I still think that there are other great players out in the market that we could potentially go after. But as far as what the Dallas Mavericks need to get rid of, Daniel Gafford is a player whose name has been brought up recently in the media, or at least in news and rumors. It was reported just the other day that the Mavericks have made Daniel Gafford available in trade, and I reported that as well yesterday, and I saw all the comments, over 300 comments. You guys were very adamant and very clear. You do not want to see Daniel Gafford traded, and I agree with you. I think that he is perfectly fine where he is in the Dallas Mavericks. I don't think you give up on a guy like Daniel Gafford after the first year. Players can have down seasons. They can have down moments, but isn't it up to the coach and the other players to really try and bring the best out of players? Instead of just giving up whenever a player plays bad, why don't we invest more into him? And the way that Derrick Lively does seem to be somewhat injury prone, you don't want to get rid of Daniel Gafford. Otherwise, you got Dwight Powell and possibly Maxey at the 5. Again, you could try to slide PJ at the 5, and who's at the 4? Up there's still Maxey, right? I don't think trading Daniel Gafford is the right decision, and we do have somewhat of an update on that front. We take a look right here. Mavs notes from the Steinline today. The first note was Mavs have strong interest in Herb Jones, but New Orleans is discouraging trade interest in him, which we already spoke about. Mavs want to add a strong perimeter defender, obviously that point of attack defender, someone to just stop the threes from raining on us. That's something that we definitely need to go after. And the last thing is, it's a misnomer to suggest the Mavs are shopping Daniel Gafford. And just to bolster that claim, to back up that claim, this tweet, it was in Portuguese, so I had to translate it. But according to the Steinline, it is inappropriate to think of Daniel Gafford as a name available for trades. Gaff also has a great relationship with Luka and has a chance of making it to the Slovenian national team. And several times on this channel, we talked about how Daniel Gafford has been flirting with the idea of getting dual citizenship so he can go overseas in the summer and play with Luka for Slovenia. We already know how Luka's dad has been a little bit persistent to try to get Daniel Gafford to go over there. Luka and Gafford have a very good relationship, so I don't think that Nico Harrison would try to do anything to upset Luka or to just upset the chemistry of this team by trading away Gafford for anybody, and that includes Herb Jones. And whatever trade package you guys have in mind that you think could make this team better, including Daniel Gafford, I don't think it's worth pissing off Luka Doncic and just making him feel like this team doesn't have its best interest at heart. And that doesn't just go for the regular season, that has to also apply to the offseason. When it comes to FIBA, when it comes to the Olympics, we got to keep that in mind as well when it comes to Luka Doncic, when it comes to your best player on any team at all. We also have an injury update for tomorrow's game. As we all know, we got two guys that went out a few days ago when we played the Oklahoma City Thunder. Jaden Hardy went down with the ankle sprain, as well as Dwight Powell had a weird hip injury. He slipped on the floor. It was very hard for him to get up. But the update for that, Dallas Mavericks injury report versus Charlotte Hornets. Derrick Lively is questionable, so possibly he'll play. If not, it'll be the following game for sure. But Dwight Powell is out, Jaden Hardy's out, Luka Doncic is still out, and Dante Exum is still out. And that makes me a little bit worried about Dante. They told us 3 months way back in November. So, okay, cool, January time frame. I was told January 20th. It's currently January 19th. But it's showing that Dante still has more time to recover. He's not questionable. He's not day-to-day. He's not possible. He is still listed as out. I'm not too sure what that recovery time still looks like for Dante Exum. With Luka Doncic, they're saying probably before All-Star break. With Jaden Hardy, it's going to be a day-to-day thing as well as Dwight Powell. But at least we know that there there is a good chance that we could have Derrick Lively back. And the Charlotte Hornets, they are without Brandon Miller. He did get injured the other day. So hopefully this is a game that we can win, make it a 2-game win streak, try to stay out of that play-in territory and stay at least the 6th or 5th seed or higher until Luka Doncic comes back, and I think everything will be fine. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you think we need to make a trade, or do you think we're fine? Wait till Luka comes back and make a deep run. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. We can have a conversation about it. But that's all I got for you guys today. Thanks for making this far to the video. Make sure to check out our Twitter and Discord. Links in the description below. Consider becoming a channel member. We are doing a giveaway every single month on this channel. Only way to enter our giveaways is to become a channel member of any tier. But till next time, y'all take care. Drink water. Peace.